Hello, my friends, and welcome to Australia. This is Uluru, or AyersRock. Uluru, or AyersRock, is located in the middle of Australia. It's not quite the very center of the country, however, it is the center of the continent. It is sacred to the Aboriginal people who have lived in Australia for the last 40,000 years. The area around the rock is home to hot springs, water holes, rock caves, and ancient paintings. Here we have a map of the world. This is Michigan. This is us way up here in Berkeley, right around here. And all the way down here is Australia. So you can see it is very far away. Uluru, also known as AyersRock, has two names. One is the Aboriginal name one is the name that the Aboriginal people use, and the other is the one the English people use. It's the first official dual name feature in the Northern Territory, meaning that Uluru is the Aboriginal name and AyersRock is the English name. It's made of sandstone and stands 1,142 feet tall and is 5.8 miles if you were to walk all the way around the bottom. It appears to change color mostly at sunset when it appears dark red. The Aboriginal people own Uluru, however, it's jointly managed with the government in order to preserve preservation. What does it mean to Australians? There are 46 species of mammals that live here. Mammals are warm-blooded animals with fur. Include the red kangaroo, mouse, dog, camel, fox, and rabbit. Other local animals include the emu, lizards, bush turkey, and frogs. Trees from the area are used to make spearheads, boomerangs, and bowls. There are several rare and endangered species of animals and trees that live in the park, including 34 exotic plants. Tourism is also important. People come from all over to make the mile-long climb to the top. Let's look at some pictures. This is a picture of some people climbing to the top. At one point, they added this chain so that people could have a handrail, basically, to walk up to the top. You can see how large the rock is compared to the size of the people. And here are some pictures that you can use as source material when we go to draw our rock. Pick something that you like. This one has the trees in the front, the little bushes. We see the red soil and these beautiful clouds. This one, we see the rock looking very red, and the landscape around it is a little bit more flat. The clouds a little fluffier. This one includes that gorgeous sunset. We see the plants, we see the rock, the clouds, and this sun. And this is another one just showing the rock itself in its landscape setting. This one's kind of cool because it offers not only the horizon line with our rock, but we see a little bit of the road here. And the road has an angle, and these clouds have an angle. So this might be something that you want to consider using for your source material. This presentation will be up in Schoology, so you can open it and you can have the picture up to look at while you're drawing. What's next? We're going to draw Uluru, AyersRock. And you do not have to draw the one I choose. There are lots of pictures for you to choose from. I'm going to do one as an example, but you can pick whichever one you like. All right, let's go.
All right, artists, let's get started with our drawing. So we are going to be drawing Uluru, or AyersRock. So today we're just going to need a pencil and an eraser and a piece of paper. We're going to use our paper sideways, which is landscape, because we are drawing a landscape and our rock tends to run wider than it is tall. So the first thing we need to do is put in our horizon line. The horizon line is where the ground meets the sky. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Not quite in the middle, a little bit lower. I want some of that wild grass and ground to show, but I also want to leave a lot of room for that sky. Now I'm looking at a picture from the presentation, and I'm going to go ahead and draw my shape. So I'm going to kind of come up the side here. I notice it comes up a little in the middle. There's a little dip, and then this big hump down, and then a little hump at the bottom. And then I notice when I'm looking at the shapes is that we see some shadows in here. So I see a little shadow here. I see that big triangle up front here. And then we also see some little triangles sort of coming off this side here. This one's a big one. And then there's another little one here, a little shadow, and a line here. All right, so when I'm drawing my rock, I'm going to leave the detail work for later. But as of right now, I'm going to kind of go in and just roughly erase it so that it's not quite so visible. Those sketchy lines I put in there to show where my shadows will be. And if you want, you can draw a flatter version. I just happen to pick a really bumpy version. So you're going to pick out your reds and your oranges and your yellow, whatever color you see on your screen. And we will go ahead and draw our rock. So the one I picked was a little bit more red. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little red down. I'm going to bring it right to that horizon line. We're just going to focus on the shading today a little bit. We're going to get that rock covered. Next week we will add the background and focus on those little plants and the clouds and everything we can do there. So I'm just using crayons. You can use colored pencils or crayons. No markers because we need to get that shading in and we need to be able to layer our colors. So I've got a little red going here. I'm going to add a little bit of white. I can see where my lines were, and I'm going to add in that nice yellow highlight here because I can see that it was nice and bright down the very tip of these points that came out. So there's one here, there's another one over here, some over here. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just trying to get those light spots in. If you squint your eyes like you're trying to see something at night, you'll be able to see what's light and dark a little bit easier. It's very cool. Cool trick. Okay, so I've got some yellow in. We can see my yellow spots. Those are going to be my highlights. Those are the light spots. And you can always go in with another color. I could go in with like this peach if I wanted. But I'm going to go in with my oranges next. So I'm going to bring in that little bit of dark orange to the rest of it. I'm going to go over my red, and this is called cross hatching, where I colored in one direction the first time and now I'm going to color in the other direction. And what this does is it gives us a deeper level of color and it takes away some of those white spots from the first round. Okay, I'm going to want this to come right up to the top. This is a pretty dark orange. I like all the oranges that come in these Crayola 24 packs. I have a regular pack here as well. And you usually get a lot of oranges and yellows, which is cool for this project. I'm going to add a little bit more of a lighter orange in here now. We can really see our rock coming to life. By layering different colors, we bring together all of them and we can create depth and dimension and make our piece look a little bit more 3D. Okay, now this time I'm pressing pretty hard because this is my top layer. Okay, so we can see I've got some yellows going in here, some oranges, and some reds. And this time I don't want any white to show. And I'm also going to hit my border pretty good because I want this to look like a solid rock. I don't want it to look airy. I want it to look thick and heavy. See how nice this is looking when you get that nice heavy coat. So the first one I did was red, then I put my yellow on top, and now I'm going in with orange to smooth out all those other colors out. Alright. Now I still want to show a little bit more darkness than I got with the red, so I'm going to add a teeny bit of brown after I get this orange done. And again, if I squint my eyes at my picture, pretend like I'm looking really far away or at something that's really dark, I can go ahead and see those lights and darks. So I can see when I squint here that there's a lot of dark, like right in here. It's kind of like a little triangle of dark. And it kind of comes up and over. There's a ledge here that kind of comes down like this, and then there's this brown spot here, and then I see another little dark ledge over here. Don't worry if you don't get it right. We're just trying. Right now we're learning. And then there's a nice big chunk over here, and then here too, and then in between I see a big shadow. Now your picture may be different than mine. Mine just shows like a nice big shadow here. And there's one more over here. Now I also like to put a little bit of shadow at the bottom to make it look like it's receding, and this won't make a difference now, but it will next week when we add in our grass in our background. So just a little bit in the bottom here, nothing too major, just kind of going in. All right, and we can start to see how our rock is coming together. Now next week we're going to add our blue background, and blue and orange are opposites on the color wheel, meaning that they are straight across from each other. And that's going to, when they're across from each other like that, that allows them to make each other shine even more. So I'm going to keep this kind of orangey. I've got my highlights, my yellow in here. If you want to add more, you can. I could go back in and layer some more up on top here, make it look a little shinier. This area that comes up front, but you don't have to. And then we've got our shadows, and we've got our rock tech. Now next week we're going to add those little plants, we're going to add our sky, and we're going to finish this up. Remember, this is a 2-week project, so next week you're going to want to get part 2 of this video for the Uluru or AyersRock project and not pick a different one. All right, my friends, have fun. See you next week.